Hello, friends. My name is Steve, and welcome to Steve Talks Books. Thanks for coming by. Watch my weekly update. It's where I talk about what I've been reading, what I'm going to read, what I won't get to, and why I haven't been around on my weekly update for a couple of weeks. So if you'd like to connect with me, the best place is in our forum at pagetwoing.com, where we have all the discussions and plan all of our different group reads and movie meetups and all that other stuff. It's all planned out there. I can also be found on Vero at that one MFer. I am currently in the middle of a 365-day challenge when I post a photograph every single day. So go by and check that out if you'd like to see what I'm up to over there. That's my social media platform of choice. So I can also be found on Steve Talks Movies, where I'm starting my 24 A24 videos in 24 days. So that is starting today, which is Saturday. I'm a day early this week. So go and check that out. There is a movie every single day for 24 days. It's going to be lots of fun. And so far it's been a little hit and miss from the ones that I've been watching, but it's all in good fun. So it's all good stuff. So go check that out if you're interested. I haven't been around for a couple of weeks. It's been very busy. Have lots of stuff going on. I've been struggling to keep up, and it's just been a lot. So I apologize for not being around. It's been a busy few weeks, a good few weeks, but busy. So it's good to be back and back on the weekly update train. So thanks for coming by. Let's go ahead and start out with what I was reading, what I have been reading for the past couple of weeks. It's been, like I said, it's been a lot. I'm trying to remember everything I've been reading, and I've been trying to read slower lately. I've been trying to kind of savor my reads and not rush through things. Not that I rushed before, but I'm just trying to take my time and not feel like I have to hurry. So it's been a nice change too. So let's start with The Curse of the Mistwraith. We did have our group read for that. We did have a discussion with Jenny Wirtz last week, and Curse of the Mistwraith I put in the same category as something like Baker or Stephen Erickson or some other authors, that it's really dense prose that you have to slow down. At least I do, because I'm not very smart, but I have to slow down and really just take it all in. And I think it's been good for me to read those kind of books, to just slow down a little bit, just pump the brakes a little bit. It is very dense. It is very, it's just full. It's in the prose. It's like poetic, and it's something you have to really just like focus on. Your mind can't be drifting when you're reading something like this series. And I've been really enjoying it. And we did have a great meetup with Jenny to discuss that book. And I'm sure there's a ton that I just didn't pick up on the first time. But so this is a series that I'm excited to get into. I'm glad I'm reading with a group, because I feel like it's good to take every few chapters to kind of catch up with other people who are reading with you, and that way you kind of have someone to kind of relate to and toss ideas around, and things that you missed, because there's so much that I missed that the others in the group picked up on. So I'm very fortunate to have such wonderful people who are willing to put up with me every week to discuss these books. So thanks to all of you. You know who you are. So also, I've been reading, we did finish we did finish, The Great Ordeal. We did finish that. And then we have been starting The Unholy Consult. That series, it is something. It is something. We're getting to where everything's starting to converge, and what's been built up for the past 6 books, we're starting to get to that point where everything is kind of coming to a head. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's intense. There's a lot going on. And when people would talk about the end of the series, they would say like, wow, it's something. Like everyone had this reaction to it. And I'm starting to see where that reaction came from. And this series, I felt, is much more, I want to say, a little bit more horror than fantasy. It's very dark, and there are a lot of horror elements in it. So of course I enjoy it, but it can be very dark. It can be very dark. Yeah. Speaking of horror, I also finished The Making of Gabriel Davenport by Beverly Lee. It's a quick read, and it is a vampire tale, but the way that the story is told isn't the way I expected it to be told. It is told in I think most vampire stories, you expect the person, if they aren't already a vampire, that they'll become a vampire in pretty short order. Like you kind of expect that journey to start sooner. That's not the way the story unfolds. And I enjoy the different take on the making of Gabriel Davenport. I think you kind of gather a little bit what the book is about, and that's what it's about, is the making of Gabriel Davenport. And there's other elements that are explored and they're introduced that I think this world has the potential to be very, very vast. It's not very narrow. There's a lot of room for the series to expand, and it was a pretty quick read, pretty quick and easy read, and I mean that in a good way. But I enjoyed it a lot. It's hard to put down, so definitely one to check out if you are into kind of vampire stories or horror vampire stories. And I do think this series has a lot of potential, and I'll be continuing with this series too. I also read and finished A Storm of Swords. It's the third book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. Now, I'm going to be. I have to be honest. This series, the books, when I read them, I recognize how well written they are. I mean, I almost wish I would have read the books when the series was being aired. I wasn't reading a whole lot back then, but I wish I would have. I really wish I would have read the books while the series was going or before each season or something, because when I read the books, like I said, they're written really well. They're well done, but I've seen the series so many times that I pretty much know what's going to happen. So it's hard. It was hard for me to get through these, as well written as they were, as good as they were. I just felt like we were like rehashing the series again. So it was a little tough to get through this one, not because it was bad, just because it felt like I'd been here before. So it's one of those things. And I also have to be honest when I admit something that I couldn't shake that nagging voice in the back of my head that was saying, is he ever going to finish the series? Are you reading this series and it's never going to be finished? It bothered me a little bit. Like, am I wasting my time? Are we ever going to have a conclusion? Is this ever going to be wrapped up? So it is in the back of my head a little bit. I tried not to listen, but that little voice is there. What about all of you? Do you hear that voice from a series that isn't finished, that may not ever be finished? Does it bother you? Or can you just read it without it being finished? I've also been reading The Vile Thing We Created by Robert Ottone. I have an arc for this one. I've been chipping away at it between the other books I've been reading, and so far it's getting creepier as I go. I've been slowly reading this one just between other reads, so it's taking me a little bit longer than normal. I'm also listening to Word Gods by our friend Susanna Imaginario, and the narrator in this one does a really good job. I think Susanna describes this series as weird fantasy, and so far, yeah, it's like weird fantasy. It's weird fantasy. So far, it's been pretty fun. It's not as dark as the stuff I normally read, but it is fantasy with a little bit of humor and some, I don't want to say too much, but there's gods involved with other things. So if you enjoy gods being like meddling gods, check into this series, and this one may be for you. I'm also going to be starting a couple of graphic novels, and the first one is Darth Vader, Lord of the Sith. I'm going to be starting that series after hearing so much about it. And also I'm going to be starting 30 Days of Night, because we're going to have a discussion for the book and the movie, or maybe both. So stay tuned for that. I think it's fun to kind of compare adaptations and kind of see where the decisions were made, why they were made. So I may be using both channels for that, but we'll see how that works out as we get closer to it. So for the channel, like I said, I've been way behind. The AuthorCon interviews have been posting every morning. Those are wrapped up. Those are done. There is a playlist for them if you'd like to watch them all. There was more than I remember there being. I kind of lost track that one day that I was there. We were doing one after another, and I started losing track of how many I'd done. But those are all wrapped up, and they're in the playlist if you would like to watch any of them. For the Friday conversation 2 weeks ago, we did visit with our friends Catherine Silva, Robert Atone, and Michael Tyree. That was just a really good time. I love that group. We had such a good time in Virginia, and it was so nice seeing them again. They're just like great people that I just love to be around. You find your tribe, like you find people that you can really mesh with, and they're part of my tribe that I just like to be around and like to visit with. So that was a lot of fun. That was a great time. I really just a good time. This last Friday, we did visit with the Before We Go blog group. It was a full house, but it was fun to get everyone together after communicating so long online. It's nice to put faces to names and to finally talk to someone real time without pauses or without text involved. It's always fun. So we had a really good time with that one. Talked for a long time, just lots of laughs, and we did go off the rails a little bit there for a while. So, but it was all in good fun. We also had a couple of big page chewing episodes over on Taylor's channel, May Between the Pages. We did visit with Fonda Lee a week or two ago. And last week we had a visit with Gareth L. Powell. That was lots of fun. So be sure and check those out. There is a playlist for page chewing on both of our channels, on Taylor's channel and my channel, if you'd like to check any of those out, if you missed any of them. And with the Baker series coming to an end for us, Daniel and Katarina and I have been talking about trying to keep the trio together, trying to decide on another series that we may be continuing. Not sure what we're going to pick yet. I'm trying really hard to keep those two around because I have such a good time with them. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we'll continue to another series. Just not sure. It's hard to choose a series after this one. It'd be a big shoes to fill after having discussions for almost a year for these books. It's been such a great time that it's going to be hard to pick another series to fill those shoes. It's just so much to these books. It's hard to pick one after this one. I'm guessing it may be even harder when we finish the book. A couple other things I want to mention. I did record a video about the things I've learned in the past 2 years on YouTube. I did mention that a couple of weeks ago. I was saving it because I didn't want to overwhelm everyone with videos. I was already posting the author interviews every day. So I kept it. I thought, well, I'll post it when the interviews are done. And I went back to watch it, and I just wasn't happy with it. I just didn't like it, and I felt like I could do it better. So I deleted it. I'm going to be re-recording it. Are there any questions that any of you have about my time on BookTube? There's just questions, anything at all, whether it's you want to start your own channel, if I can help, or you have questions, or you're curious about something, leave them in the comments below, and I will get to them in that video, or maybe even do a live stream and just answer questions that way. Let me know if that'd be of any interest to you at all. If not, no big deal. I'll probably do something fun for that, just because I think there's things I want to share that I think it's important to remind everyone certain things that, yeah, it's all good stuff, but I think it's good. It's a good reminder for all of us, myself included, some of these things that I've learned. Over the past couple of weeks, I have been thinking of having some honest conversations with myself over the future of the channel, kind of what I want to do with it, what I should focus on, what I want it to be. And so I'm trying to figure out where it seems like it never ends. You're trying to figure out where you fit in, kind of what you're good at, what you're not good at, kind of, what people respond to, what people don't respond to, what you should be spending time on. So there's things that I've been kind of tossing around in my head, trying to figure out what should I focus on, kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see where those conversations go. Also a reminder, a couple other things that I want to mention. The Curse of the Mist Wraith, we did finish that, but we are continuing with Wars of Light and Shadow. We are starting book 2. We're starting discussions next month. So if you'd like to join us, check out the forum. There's threads there. We will be posting a schedule there soon. We'll be reading, I believe we'll be meeting every other week, doing 4 chapters every 2 weeks. It's a very slow methodical reading pace. It's not very fast. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you. Also, so our friend Varsha over at Reading by the Rainy Mountain, we were discussing reading Malazan because she's almost done with Malazan. She's reading it for the first time. So what we're going to do over on her channel is we're going to start a Malazan read along from book number 1. She's going to be our guide through the books. We will be meeting. We're trying to decide every week or every other week, but it's going to be very slow, like a chapter every week or every other week. So it's not going to be fast, not going to be like a rush. So if you'd like to join us, again, check out the forum and go let us know that you're interested. We don't have all the details worked out yet, but we're working on that now. So if you're interested, please go by and check that out and let us know you are interested so we can plan accordingly. So a couple of questions for you this week. Are you good at repairing vehicles? I'm terrible at repairing cars. I've never been good at it. I always end up with like bolts and stuff left over that I just like, where does this go? I don't know. Like it works. Let's just go with it. And it never seems, I either seem to make things worse or to not really fix it. Like it's never the same. So I just try not to. The reason I bring this up is because I was driving home the other day and have an older truck that I know was on its last legs, and a belt was made. It was like a loud belt noise, like a bad belt. And I just pulled into the driveway, and right after I did that, I got out to check, and all the fluids just puked out of the bottom of the engine, and just so it doesn't look too good. So that may be kaput for my truck, but we'll find out when I can get it to a repair shop. But thankfully I made it home. But car trouble's the worst when you get stranded somewhere. So thankfully, at least I made it home. But the days of the truck may be numbered. So are you good at repairing vehicles? Let me know if you are, if that's something that you are skilled at, because I'm definitely not. It's not my thing at all. Not good at it. The second question I have, the seasons are changing. It's getting warmer. Things are, the sun's coming out. Their days are getting longer. Do you change your reading habits every season? Like, does weather or season, does that change your reading habits? I find myself reading pretty much the same. Like I don't know that it really affects my choices when I read things, but I know some people like to read lighter books in the summertime, like in the hotter months, just to kind of, because it feels lighter, like more, maybe like comfort reads. Summertime, some things aren't as dark or aren't as bleak or heavy, and then they save that for the colder months. Let me know down below if you change your reading habits with the seasons, or you just read whatever you want to read. A couple of months ago, I mentioned that I'll be going to RAGBRAI in July for the 50th ride in RAGBRAI. What RAGBRAI is, it's a ride across the state of Iowa over the course of 6 or 7 days. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to do it before the pandemic, and then the pandemic derailed a lot of those things. And I wanted to do it this year. I had planned on going, and my boss, he mentioned to me that he's getting married on July 22nd, and then he's going on vacation with his wife the week after. The problem with that is that one of us always have to be there because we're the management team for our department. So if one of us is gone, the other one has to be there. And he already made plans and travel arrangements. They're going on this elaborate trip. So I could have said, no, you can't go because I'm going to Iowa, but I'm just not that kind of guy. So I said, well, I hope you have a great time and have fun. And he's like, did you plan on going anywhere in July? I thought you mentioned you wanted to go somewhere. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's fine. You two have fun. So there goes my plans this year for RAGBRAI. However, I am going to be writing in Hemis in June. So I'm going to it's a much shorter ride, but I'll be doing a ride in June in Hemis. So I'll be taking whoever wants to come along. I'll be taking you along, probably over on my bike channel to kind of share that experience. But there's a few different rides. I think we're going to do the 50-mile ride, make a day of it, and then kind of go from there. I didn't realize how many bike events there are around me until I started looking at the internet, right? So Also, I did have a quick, limited, very not very edited video that I did last week on my mountain bike. So if you'd like to see it, I'll leave a link down below. Some of my favorite trails, if you want to check that out. It's on my bike channel, but it's not listed. It's just unlisted. So if you'd like to check that out, it's down below. So give it a look. So I think that's it. I'm trying to keep this. I was trying to keep it limited because it's been a couple of weeks and there's a lot to update all of you on, and I missed all of you. It's been weird not talking to you so much. So also I wanted to mention sprints. I will do my best to be here on Tuesday to continue sprints. It's just been really tough lately. It's been a struggle to keep up, and I've been really trying, and I miss all of you on Tuesday sprints. So I really hope the planets align this week, because I really do miss all of you. It's been sad to not chat with all of you. So we hope to see you on Tuesday. I'll be sure and put the thumbnail up ahead of time, and we will see you all on Tuesday. So enough about me. How's your week going? What are you reading, watching, or listening to? I'd love to hear about it. I get a lot of recommendations from all of you, so it's always good when I hear. I just like hearing about what you're up to, because I feel like I talk about myself too much. So I want to. It's the back and forth that makes this fun. So so I hope you're all having a great week. Let me know what you have planned. If you have any summer plans, I'd love to hear about them. Share anything you'd like to share. We're all friends here. So until next time, talk to you soon.